A quick question about that, and then I have some other questions for you. So you don't believe in Jesus. The Zionists don't believe in Jesus, but they believe in God. Do they believe in God?
Yeah, most Jews don't believe in Jesus. We do believe that he was a person, that he was around. We do believe he was an influential figure at his time, a revolutionary person, but we don't believe that he was a God or the Son of God or the Messiah. We do believe in God, though.
But how can you believe in God if you don't believe that God sent the Son to tell you how to return to him and make it possible, and made it possible so that we can return to... Now, Jesus didn't want people to believe in him either. He didn't want them to worship him. He didn't want them to call him king. He did not. He tried to make it clear to them that he was no different than them. They just wasn't aware that they were no different than Jesus because they were lost in their imagination. And so Jesus never wanted to be worshipped, but he came and brought us the message that you can return to the Father now. He sent me, this thing is done, we paid the price so you can come back to the Father. But they worshiped Jesus, they made him a king, they called him everything but a son of God. But how can you believe in God without knowing that, without understanding the message that was sent to you by God?
So first of all, it says in many places in the Torah that God is not a man. And you had
He's not a man.
Right. You had my dear friend.
He lived in a body, but he, the male body.
A lot of Christians do believe that Jesus is God, right? Okay. Well, we can say
dumb, right?
97% of Christians have a different view to you when it comes.
99.9% of the Christians are dumb as a doorknob.
Okay. That's.
You agree?
The majority of humanity has yet to elevate. Let's put it that way. To answer your question, you're telling me, how could you believe in God if you don't believe in the Son of God, which is Jesus? Well, if another person came to me...
But not believe in him, but believe the message that he brought.
Right, but you're assuming that message is true. And I'll go by that argument for a second.
Right.
Let's say there was another person that came to me and they said, there's this woman named Woman X, and this Woman X is the daughter of God. And then she would ask you, how do you believe that there's the Son of God and his message if you don't believe in the daughter of God and his message? So we can separate those two things. I respect your right to believe in your version of what you understand.
But you shouldn't believe in the daughter.
No.
He said a son.
I gave an example of something we would both disagree with to show you that if someone has this belief, it doesn't mean then all of a sudden that yours is illegitimate just because there's difference.
Absolutely.
So the same way I have a different view of God, I see God as oneness that exists and that he did not have a son and that Messiah has yet to come. My belief is not invalidated because you have a different belief in a version of what I believe.
But isn't that because the rabbis in those days was jealous of God, of Jesus, because he was reminding the people that the rabbis were liars and hypocrites, and they were cleaning the glass on the outside by wearing these fancy robes and big hats and things. Well, on the inside, they were not cleaning that at all, and so they were deceiving the people in order to control the people by pretending that they were talking about God or they knew God. Then Jesus, so isn't that because of the rabbis?
No. So if we look at the time of the Roman Empire, which you're talking about 2,000 years ago when Jesus was around, you had the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Zealots. You have three different communities of Jews.
Right.
Mainstream Orthodox rabbinical Judaism today comes from the Pharisees. And so to describe quickly the differences, the Sadducees believed that they should not only be under the Romans that were our occupiers at the time, but that they should try to become like the Romans. They also rejected the oral Torah and kept only the written Torah. The Pharisees knew that they were Jews, wanted to keep both the oral and written Torah, but were okay with living under the Romans. And you had the Zealots that were a little bit more extreme. That's why you had this word zealous. That means a little bit more extreme, more activated, which not only believed they should remain Jewish with the oral and written Torah, but also that the Romans should not control their land. So there are valid critiques you can have of each community, both the leaders and the individuals, but I don't think it's because Jesus rejected particularly or criticized the rabbis that he was rejected. I think Jesus never said said that he was God, when he said he was the Son of God.
He never said he was
When
God.
he said he was the Son of God, he said we're all the children of God, right? So in that way, it's true. We're all creations of God. We all come from Adam, right? Adam is literally the creation of God. Me and you are brothers, the children of Adam. We're even closer. We're the children of Noah, right? We're all descendants of Noah. So we all are part of this family. We're all parts of one, part of Hashem, part of God. And in that sense, he's correct. Viewing it later as he's the Son of God individually and separately from everyone else, this is where I think that there's misinterpretations that come later on after Jesus' time.
But Jesus didn't cause that, because Jesus made it clear that we were all children of God.
That's right.
And that we're all one.
Right.
We're all brothers and sisters of God.
Yeah, on that I agree.
He made that clear, but the people missed that. Even the Christians missed that.
That's right.
And then he made it clear that the only way we don't see that we're sons of God is because we're divided. You a divided person think that they're the only one, that everybody, you have to accept what they say or nothing and blah, 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 right?
That's right.
But you have to become whole, a whole person, in order to see that we are all the same, and we're not. We're all sons and daughters of God, but they don't see it because they live in their misery of their imagination. They believe what they think and feel, they think it's real.
Yeah, I agree
They
with
are
you on
divided.
You know,
What a mess, huh?
I mean, I gave the analogy of a body earlier, right? Bodies have different organs, and each organ needs to be different. If the brain thinks it's the heart, thinks it's the hand, thinks it's the eyes, thinks it's the feet, the body's going to be in a mess.
Right.
But unity doesn't mean uniformity. Unity means understanding the differences, but understanding that we're all a part of one.
Yeah.
And if we were all seeing God as oneness that interconnects all of us, then there would be no hatred and separation.
There would be peace on earth.
Right, because if you're hurting, I'm an extension of that. I'm an extension of you. You're an extension of me, and we're all hurting.
Yeah.
So there has to be an evolution in humanity of how, or
That's not
going
gonna
back to how we
happen,
used
though.
to. It will.
No, people love their thrills. They love hating. The devil loved hating, and he loved being hated.
So let's destroy that.
And if you notice that human beings, anyone that has anger is of their father, the devil, small father, small God, and they love bringing inflict misery on other people. They roam the earth to see who they can hurt, because they are of the devil. So those people are never going to overcome, because they love evil.
But people can correct, right?
They can.
And that's why we're brought back into this human experience to work on ourselves, to work on our souls, both internally and externally on the world around us. And so,
But you can't help the world around you. They don't want help.
They don't know that they want help.
So let me ask, is it true that Jews are rich?
No, a lot of Jews are not rich, and a lot of Jews may also be rich, like any people.
I've never seen a poor Jew.
Well, come to Israel, I'll show you plenty of poor Jews, and even on this street on Pico, there's some homeless Jews that live on this street.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of poor Jews out there. There's a lot of rich Jews, too.
I've seen on TV where the Christians will raise money for the poor Jews from Russia and places like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was real or not, because it looked like there are no poor Jews.
Well, usually if you're talking about the American experience, the Jews that came here post the Holocaust came here, worked in order to raise money, to create wealth, and they didn't just buy material, they bought properties, they bought things that would have a lot of wealth that would last the generation. We focused on education, on giving our children the potential to be able to have the tools to go and function, to have ideas, and we also help one another, right? I think this is something that when you look at the black community, when a black person is successful, they don't usually always help
They run
other
away
people.
from the hood.
Right, and so it's not necessarily about a person being Jewish or not Jewish. It has a lot to do with how we practice our culture and how we raise the next generation. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean every single Jew is wealthy or rich, and it doesn't mean every other person of another community isn't rich. You have good people, bad people, rich people, poor people in all communities. The reason why in America there is a high level of success when it comes to the Jewish community is not because of DNA, is not because we're born in any special way. It's because of the culture and how we raise the next generation. Studying, right? We learn Torah, we speak a different language, we ask questions, we challenge, we try to find solutions. So our culture is based on finding solutions to problems.
Is it true that Jews don't sue each other?